You have filed your return, but you realize you either made a mistake or some values were omitted. How do you correct that? In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to file an amended return. You'll need your P9 form and any other document affecting the return, such as an insurance certificate or a mortgage certificate or withholding tax certificates. To file the return, kindly visit itax.kra.go.ke. Log in using your PIN and your password. Once you're logged in, go to Returns, select File Amended Return. Select the appropriate tax obligation. In this case, it will be income tax resident individual. Go to the next page. Select the appropriate return period. In my case, it will be 1st of January 2021 to 31st December 2021. Under the type of form to download, click on the download button and the return form will be downloaded. Kindly open it. Once you've opened the return form and you're in the basic information, you're required to provide the personal identification number, which is your PIN number. The type of return, you have original and amended. Select the type of return as amended, as we are not filing the return for the first time. Select the appropriate return period. In our case, it will be 1st of January 2021 to 31st December 2021. If you have income other than employment income or any other certificate, we do not select that at this point. Kindly go to the next sheet, which is sheet F, employment income. Key in the PIN of your employer as per the P9 form. Provide the name of your employer, the gross pay as per your P9 form. In our case, that value is in column D, total gross pay. Remember, we are working with the total values for all the months worked. Under allowances, enter the value 0, netto value of housing 0, pension if in excess of 300,000, provide 0, as it is not applicable in this case. Go to the next section. In case you had more than one employers, kindly fill the next row, which is row 4. Provide the PIN number of your second employer, the name of your second employer, the gross pay as per the second P9 form, then 0 under these other sections if not applicable. Once you filled in that successfully, kindly go to the next page, which is sheet M, details of pay as you earn deducted. Select the PIN of the employer, key in the name of the employer. The taxable value is provided for in the P9 form. That will be column H, chargeable pay, and it is a total of the total gross pay less column E2, actual contribution, which is the pension. Key in the value in column C. The next column is tax payable on taxable salary. On your P9 form, it is column J, tax charged, which is a total of pay as you earn and personal relief. That is column K, and column L, the total will be the amount on column J. We move on to the next cell, which is the amount of tax deducted pay as you earn. On your P9 form, it is column L, PAYE. Remember, we are working with the total values. If you had more than one employer, remember to fill the next row, which is row 4, with the PIN of the second employer, the name of the second employer, and all the other values as guided by the first section. If you had more than one employers, kindly remember to fill row 4 with the PIN of the employer, the name of the employer, the taxable salary, pay as tax payable on taxable salary, and amount of tax deducted, pay as you earn. From there, we can move on to the next sheet, which is sheet Q for payment credits. In case you had made any tax payments in advance or as self-assessment, they are declared in this section. If that is not the case, kindly move on to the next sheet, which is sheet T, tax computation. 11.1 on sheet T is defined or pension contribution, that is the amount of pension contribution done within the year. On your P9 form, the amount is availed on column E2. From there, we move on to the next part, which is 12.6, personal relief, and the amount is availed on your P9 form on column K. For the year 2021, if you worked for all the 12 months, the amount of personal relief is 28,800. Number 14, that is the tax due or refund due, displays an amount of tax payable if positive and tax refundable if negative. If you didn't have any other income, kindly click on the validate button. In case you had any other income or details to declare, kindly go back to the basic information. That is sheet A. Number 7 will ask you, do you have income other than employment income? Click on yes. If you had mortgage certificate, if you had a mortgage certificate, kindly click yes to number 11, which is do you have mortgage, and we select yes. If you had life insurance policy, kindly select yes on number 13, that is do you have life insurance policy. Please remember that you're selecting these sections if applicable. If that is not the case, you ought not to select them. From there, we can go to sheet B, which is the profit and loss account. For someone who had income other than employment income or withholding certificates, you kindly declare the gross amount on the certificates either in 11.1 or 11.2 and list. In case of withholding certificates, kindly fill the amount withheld in either row 1.1 or row 1.2 under the appropriate column. Then from there you can move on to the next sheet, which is sheet C. You're supposed to balance your assets against your liabilities. In this case, we'll use the number 1 in 1.1 land and building and the number 1 in 6.1 proprietor's capital to In case of withholding certificates, fill in the gross amount as per the withholding certificates in either row 1.1 or row 1.2 under the appropriate column. Then we can move on to the sheet C, balance sheet, where you're supposed to balance your assets against your liabilities by entering the number 1 in 1.1 under land and building and the number 1 in 6.1 proprietor's capital, that is to balance your assets against your liabilities. For someone with mortgage certificate, go to the sheet J, computation of mortgage. Fill in the details as required, the PIN of the lender, the name of the lender, the mortgage number, amount borrowed, amount outstanding at the end of the year, and amount of interest paid. In case of more than one mortgage certificates, kindly add more rows. In case you had insurance certificates, go to sheet L, insurance relief section. Enter the details required, that will be the PIN of the insurance company, name of the insurance company, the type of policy, which can be education, health, or life, insurance policy number, policy holder, child, self, or your wife, the commencement date, the maturity date, the sum assured upon maturity of the insurance, and the annual premium paid. Once again, if you had more than one insurance certificates, remember to add rows. From there, go to the very last sheet, which is T-tax computation. For someone with the withholding certificates, key in the total amount withheld in 13.4 for the withholding tax credits. For this demonstration, we do not have any amount withheld, hence we'll click on the Validate tab. Next, we'll move on to the very last sheet, which is T-tax computation. For someone with a withholding certificate, the total amount withheld as per all your withholding certificates will be entered in 13.4. In our case, we do not have value for the purposes of this demonstration. From there, validate the return form to generate the zipped file to be uploaded on iTax. Once the return validates appropriately, the returns have validated correctly and they are ready to be uploaded. So we click on the Yes button, and by default they have saved under the Documents folder. Go back to the iTax platform. We had already selected the type of return as amended and selected the period. Under the button Upload Form, we attach the zipped file generated by clicking Choose File. By default, it is saved on the Documents folder. Open it. Then upload supporting document. In this case, it will be your P9 form and any other document that you've used to file the return scanned into one file. In our case, we'll upload the P9 form as the supporting document, and then you can submit the amended return. Once the return is validated successfully, go back to the iTax portal. We had already selected the return period, and go back to the iTax portal. We had already selected the type of return as amended and the return period. Click on Choose File and Upload Form to attach the zipped file, which is by default saved under Documents. Open it and then upload supporting documents. Since you're doing an amendment, you have to upload a supporting document. In our case, you'll use the P9 form as the supporting document, but in case you had a mortgage certificate or an insurance certificate, you're supposed to scan them into one, and that is what you attach. From there, you can submit your amended return. Once submitted successfully, you're issued with an acknowledgement receipt, which you can download for your records. However, if you're amending the return downward, once the return is submitted successfully, you're issued with an acknowledgement receipt, which you can download for your records. However, if the amended return was reducing the tax payable, you're issued with an acknowledgement receipt, which will need approval at your tax office. That is how you file your amended return.